fundamentals they've actually figured out. And then also you have all the polish and cool stuff, the bells and whistles on top of it. We're back to the classic prestige, which has got me playing so much more than I expected it to reel me in. It's reeled me in. I'm really excited to keep playing so I can get max prestige again. Ooh, what am I gonna spend my next token on? I don't know. I'm gonna have to go look. It's like got me excited. I want a prestige again. Ninja's not a bad one. Perk greed than Ninja. Well, no, if it's level 17. We are live. Welcome to Boys and Girls, the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 400, and also in addition to that 70 plus 1. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today I'm joined by Tanner with the North Face. That hoodie looks older than many of our listeners, by the way, and shorts combo.
It's how old is it?
It's ancient.
It's standard hoodie age, I would say. Probably 10 years old or so. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyways, welcome to the show. Today, we have an episode. So, this is kind of our first, news patch notes pod of BO6 besides literal launch day. And there is a lot more than I initially thought to get into, which is a good thing. Most of it is forward-looking. We got a lot of news, and then we got some leaks as well, which we will go over today, obviously. And then we did get a patch to go through as well. So we will have some announcements. So stick around for the end of the program if you want to hear those, some fun and exciting ones. Promo code Dropshot at manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping. Don't forget it. And now I think we're going to dive right into these patch notes and changes already in effect. Excuse me. So we've had 2 patches since launch that we have not covered. One of which was on Saturday, the 26th. Not too much really in either of these, but we'll go through them anyway. Just some quality of life kind of things, changing some exploits. Here's an interesting one. Increased XP and weapon XP rates for modes that were awarding less XP than expected. These were TDM, Control, Search, and then Gunfight. So they're trying to kind of even out how much XP, and we're going to talk even more about this. They're trying to even out how much XP and weapon XP you'll get, regardless of what mode you play. Because if you play Search, it's not respawn. So if you get a kill, in an average game of Search, let's say you get 10 kills, whereas an average game of Hardpoint, you'll get 70. So it wouldn't make sense to play Search to level your character up, or especially your guns. But that sucks if you enjoy playing Search. So they're trying to even all that out, and they do even more about that. They talk more about that later on when it comes to zombies. But anyways, so that's a good thing. You can kind of play whatever you want and get roughly the same XP regardless. Let's see. They also, this was pretty, I kind of like this, honestly. For decoy grenades, they removed the XP gain for them. This was a thing in actually quite a few games. I'm pretty sure it was in all the way from MW 19, which I think had decoys. It did. Decoy grenades were just very easy to get the plus 15 or whatever score for distraction assist or whatever, and that would also give you weapon XP. So you would just use tactical wild cards. So you have 3 of them, and then as soon as you spawn, you just throw 3 decoys, and you'll be getting some extra character XP and some extra weapon XP for doing basically nothing. And that was cool for leveling up your stuff a little more quickly, but it sucked lots playing the game because your mini map would become useless completely, and you'd constantly be getting more audio pollution in a game that already has too much audio pollution. So I'm ultimately glad they did this. Ideally, what they would do is have the XP gain be roughly similar so that you don't get more XP for using decoys than like stims, but you don't get less either. That would be the best case scenario, but I don't even know how they would do that. So ultimately, I'm happy to see this because you didn't gain that much extra XP, honestly, but it made the game way more toxic and annoying to play. So I'm kind of glad they did this, honestly.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. And then besides that, a couple other things, some zombies changes as well. And then in the UI UX column, they added these are patch notes, by the way. There are 2 redacted patch notes. What are we doing? What could this possibly be mean? Is it like a Dark Ops challenge UI bug they fixed and then won't tell us about because it's Dark Ops? That's my guess. I don't know why
I didn't
they
even
would
think
redact
about that.
this, though.
Yeah, it must have been something to do with that, actually.
But if you don't want to tell us, then just don't tell us. Well,
Because
why are you redacting it in the patch? It's so silly.
Because you know what? I did remember seeing some things on the TL about people. I don't remember what challenge it was, but I'd seen some people saying they did what was required for some Dark Ops challenges, and it didn't give them the calling card. So yeah, that's got to be it. They could have just said fixed issues with Dark Ops challenges not tracking correctly, but yeah,
okay. Would have been really much better. But this is actually kind of based and funny, so whatever. And then that's pretty much it for that. So mostly some standard week 1 kind of fixing things up. And then also we got another patch on Tuesday, the 29th, even smaller patch. Some UI changes. Let's see. Nothing really worth talking about at all. Just some more bug fixes and exploit closing, basically. Notably, though, they fixed the zombies God mode exploits that people, including Cope, cringe, were using to just really easily get XP, weapon XP, and zombies camos by being literally invincible. Got it. So that's good. And then that's pretty much it.
They also supposedly fixed a lot of camo challenges. I don't know who said that, but it's not in the patch notes. I don't know who put out that information, is what I mean. But apparently they fixed a lot of those, like the kills without dying or whatever, that were incorrectly tracking, and it was too easy. They fixed that.
Right. Yeah. So, pretty good stuff there. Sorry, I had to take a giant gulp of water. And then, in addition, at COD Updates on Twitter, whom you should be following, by the way, especially this early in the game's life cycle, because they're tweeting a lot right now. They'll stop soon, don't worry. But for now, they're tweeting a lot. One thing they posted is on the 28th. And they said an issue that resulted in lower than expected zombies XP gains has been resolved. So that was another thing as well in the same vein. I guess zombies was not granting as much XP as they had intended, which is kind of crazy because I remember I talked about this on Patreon, I think. I had done 1 match of zombies and I had gotten, I think it was 6 character levels and 12 weapon levels, which seemed about right to me, but I guess it was lower than expected. So that's cool. So if you're a zombies main, you'll be leveling a little faster there as well. And then other than that, that's pretty much it for patches that have already happened. But there's a lot of news to look forward to and get into. So, first one here was a tweet from COD Updates. I don't know when this was, but they said, we're investigating an issue that impacts the ability for players to hear each other during intermission, which is to say between rounds, and in post-game voice chat. That was missing. You can't type in the middle of a match, though. Is that correct, or am I just dumb?
I haven't tried.
Really making me sad.
I actually tried this morning to type, and I noticed my normal keybind didn't work, so I just figured it was bound to something else. But when I think about it, I'm not sure I've seen anybody type. Yeah, I don't know.
which is really cringe because I've like pressed enter to go type something probably 6 times since this game launched to tell someone, holy shit, you got slammed really hard or you're really ass or whatever. And I can't. And I think that's by design.
They probably just changed the keybind then, I would imagine.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Hopefully they did. It was Unbound. Got it. Okay. Well, good comms in, yeah.
Interesting, yeah. But a lot of people for this
game.
Not being able to talk to people during intermissions and whatnot, I saw a lot of search players complaining about that because they were like, this is like the one thing that makes search interesting is like yelling at each other between rounds. Yeah. And like they took it out. So I'm glad to see it was a bug and not an intentional feature because that is something Infinity Ward will be removing from their next main title game. They saw this bug and they're like, ooh, that sounds nice. We can all just be friends with each other. We'll remove that feature for search and destroy pubs. Help get rid of the toxicity. Anti-toxicity is what I always say. That's what I strive for.
Say, yeah. They'll have to contract MIT to figure out how to do that probably, but cheaters will run through your ass. Don't worry. You just won't be able to talk to them in between rounds. I've got it. So anyways, other than that, the next big thing here is a season 1 blog post.
Oh my gosh, season 1 already?
Which we got 2 days ago. Their website just sucks, dude. I went to their website and went to blogs/Black Ops 6, and this just isn't there. So you have to, I guess, click a link itself, whatever, get ass website, but at least we got a nice big blog post here. And in addition to this, by the way, there's a lot more news and stuff through a bunch of leaks, basically. So we'll start with the official thing, though. Season 1 blog post. And there's going to be a lot to get into here. So first of all, they write a lot of words, big words, and intimidating words, which I will not be reading because I can't. Play Infected the BO6 way. So Infected's coming back. Cool.
It's already in.
And by coming back, I mean it's already in, which is what I just said. So that's cool. Won't be playing it ever, but that's fine. Although, actually, no, never mind. I was going to say it might go crazy for weapon XP, but then also if you're infected, you're getting none.
Oh, so by the way, you can get a nuke in Infected. That's not always possible in some games, so that might be an easier way to try to get a nuke if you're going for the calling card.
I remember Exclusive Ace did that in MW19, and then they patched it.
Yeah.
And he like made a video about it. He's like, guys, it's the easiest way, which is true. Yeah, if you want the nuke really bad, you should do that before they patch it out, because that is probably not intentional. Because every time I remember that being possible, they patched it out. So anyway, Classic Nuketown arrives November 1st. So yeah, tomorrow, Friday, we're getting Nuketown. And I guess I'll just mention this now. In the files, yeah, whatever. Never mind. We'll get into it. So we're going to have Nuketown 24/7 and we're going to have double FNXP or double XP, but we'll get into it in a second. So Nuketown's coming back. They released a trailer for it, which we will not be watching because it's a Nuketown trailer. I mean, day one shit. It's Nuketown. It's coming back. And it looks identical almost to the Black Ops 1 original Nuketown version to me, which is a good thing for sure. Would I prefer the BO4 version with all the snow? Yes. Hey,
really?
Hey, I'll be honest. Yeah. Because I've played that more than any other Nuketown and I have fond memories of it, including using Firebreak, which wasn't overpowered at all. But anyways, it's a good, faithful recreation, so it'll be fun and exciting, almost certainly. And I'll never play another map again because the maps in this game are not good.
They're really not.
So we talked about this a little on Patreon, but like even in our first impressions, some of the maps that I thought I liked, I don't. Vault is a great example. Map sucks. I don't know why I liked it, but I don't now. It's really bad and not good. Vorkuta remains awful. Babylon I'm starting to dislike because it's so one-sided. Here's how I play Babylon now, by the way. If I get the good spawn, my penis gets hard, right? And if I get the bad spawn, I'm gone immediately. I'm not playing this shit.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to lose, and I'm going to lose really hard. Really hard, because I spawn in a black box getting shot at by 2 angles instantly. Yeah. Instantly. So yeah, just don't. If you have the bad spawn at any point in Babylon, you're never getting out of it. Back out. Just you can't. You can't switch the spawns.
You can try
Unless
killing
you're,
the people. That's what I usually do.
Okay.
You should try that.
Nuketown's coming back.
Idiot.
Built by. Okay, yeah, a bunch of words so that I won't be reading. Nuketown for Dummies, a tour of the homes. We're not going through any of this. It's Nuketown. So
that looks like Nuketown. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, exactly like Nuketown.
Oh, they got the Area 99 truck. Yep, that's the one. There it is, right there, buddy. It's beautiful. It's vibrant. It's a nice looking map.
Yeah. So the next thing here is an Area 99 tour. So this Area 99, for those of you who may not remember or may not have heard, was showcased and played on at COD Next, and it's the next Resurgence map, Warzone Resurgence map. They talk about it here, and in not too much detail. And then here's the next section. Massive content drop. Season 1 arrives on Thursday, November 14th. So we have that confirmed 2 weeks from today.
Oh, yeah, it is. Happening. Jesus, 2 weeks from today, man. Woo, wow.
Yeah, a lot's happening.
That's crazy, actually.
So they have the audacity to write this comm, by the way. Make sure your Black Ops 6 weapons are fully leveled up and all your gear is unlocked and ready to go when Area 99 launches just over 2 weeks from now.
It's not
I'm sorry, that's not possible. It takes way too long to level guns.
There won't be a single player in the world with every gun leveled up fully. Yeah.
Like, actually, there will be, I'm not kidding. It'll be less than 1% of the entire player base that plays Warzone will have all of the weapons fully leveled up. I mean, what a dastardly comm from Treyarch to write that.
We do have double. We have double weapon XP though coming up.
Oh
buddy.
yeah,
there's a little leak for you.
Yeah. So anyway, whatever. Still though, I mean, I don't really care ultimately, and I'm very excited for season 1. But anyway, then there's an endowment pack or whatever, and then they showcase
or whatever. Huh? This is for you. Oh, this is actually a cool operator. Wait. Ooh, that's a nice operator skin, man.
Actually, you know what? That is kind of.
It's a shame it's not an American.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is like this would otherwise be a cool operator, but there's a British flag on his
might
arm.
have to buy it though.
No,
because the Cold War operators are or not Cold War. The Treyarch operators are always so bad, and they're terrible once again in this game. And this one actually looks good. I'm gonna have to buy it. I'm gonna have to support British veterans, which is super unfortunate. Yeah. Damn.
Veterans of what? Buds?
The war, man.
Veterans of training. They don't do wars. We do.
They help, man. They come and help us. You serve next to some. You serve next to some of them.
They fly some civilian airplanes to an FOB that we've established, right?
Come on, man. They help
whatsoever. They drop it off. They shake some hands, and then they get some commendation from Margaret Thatcher, whoever their queen or king is. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, whatever.
I'm gonna have to buy it. That's unfortunate. Is it in the store right now? Let's see.
It's also like all black. And
it's available
got, like,
now.
Black
yeah, I'm gonna have to
on.
buy it.
It's
Damn.
gonna be meta. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy it.
Yeah.
Even their animated calling card's kind of cool. It's a wolf, and there's a moon. What are your thoughts on that, buddy?
Okay. So yeah, words, big words, and yeah, it's whatever. Oh, it's available now, by the way. I am gonna have to.
I'm gonna have to launch the game and buy it.
$20 by the way.
$19.99. So. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it's a nice looking skin.
It is, yeah. So anyway,
plus it goes to a good cause.
They're also selling some IRL apparel. It looks pretty bad. All of it is really bad, actually, except
Through
for that
Dark, huh?
T in the middle right. That looks fine, but whatever.
What's Through Dark?
Anyway, more words, and that's pretty much it. So, actually, basically nothing we didn't already know.
We gotta check. We gotta check their website here. Let's see what they got. Shop.
You're gonna do a little website browse.
Let's
okay.
look at their little featured clothing.
Yeah, sure. Let's do an apparel viewing.
Oh, they're so British. Oh, this is the scout smock right here on the left. This is dope. I like that, guys. Nice hat too. Okay, yeah, this is some cool stuff actually.
How much is it?
Oh, it's $780 for a jacket. Why is it so expensive?
No way, dude. Click on it.
Why is it so expensive?
There's no shot at $780.
Insulated overhead waterproof jacket with a proud Special Forces heritage designed for... Okay. Tell me why it's expensive.
I hate that so much. Dude, $700? That makes me so mad. I mean, if
this is $780, guys. It's a jacket.
Dude, that's so insane.
Oh, it's for chest sizes 106 centimeters.
How much would you guess? Yeah. How much would you guess that costs?
$99.99.
Yeah, like $100.
It's a nice looking jacket.
It looks fine. It looks good. Maybe $150. Maybe $700, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd rather freeze to death out there.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's insane. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the blog post. So Treyarch also tweeted today, like I just mentioned, Nuketown 24/7 and a double XP weekend and double X Gobblegum earn rate. November 1st through the 4th, which is pretty nice. So that is Friday through Monday. So I guess all of Monday also. So that's pretty dope. And in a game that has as slow weapon leveling as this one does, you should try and play a lot this weekend. Yeah. I would advise what you do is get every AR level like 30. At the very least, get every attachment slot unlocked. Because usually the first attachment you unlock in each category is like pretty good.
Yeah, they're generally very good.
The first muzzle you'll get is a suppressor. The first barrel you'll get is a damage range or velocity barrel. The first, under barrel is like a horizontal recoil control barrel. So like all of the first things you get are pretty good. And if you do that for every AR, which wouldn't take that long, especially with double weapon XP, and every SMG, then when Warzone launches, you'll at least be able to use a meta gun with some attachments on it.
Yeah.
That would be my recommendation, because you might be thinking, oh, trust me, bro, the AS Val is going to be the Warzone meta on day one. Literally no one, including and perhaps especially any Call of Duty dev, knows what's going to be meta on day one. Certainly not you. So don't do that. You should cover pretty much all of your bases. That would be my recommendation. And then if you do that, then you can kind of go all in on like a particular AR or sub you really are confident. That's a good idea. Is gonna be good.
Yeah.
But I would just get just get all the attachment slots.
That's and then really
maybe you'd want to do that for. Maybe once that's done, you might want to do it also for the DMRs or whatever it's called, marksman rifle category. Because it's very possible that like the Sarkov 7.62 or some other semi-auto marksman rifle will be meta as well, or at least in the conversation. If that's the case, though, they'll probably nerf it fast because Warzone players hate semi-auto guns. But I don't know, something to consider. But definitely, at least for the ARs and subs, I would start there.
That, and then make sure your level is maxed out for Warzone, guys. Don't prestige 2 days before and then go in at like prestige 2 or 3 level 10. Bad idea. Make sure you got it maxed out whatever you're at. Stay at level 55, finish prestige 1 and end there. Just don't go into the launch of Warzone not being max level.
Yeah. That's a pretty wise idea as well. Especially because honestly, if you're like an average player or whatever, then I don't think it matters nearly as much. Definitely don't prestige like the day before and be level 5 though. Yeah. But if you're like in your 30s or whatever, it's probably fine if you're like average. But if you're in that top SBMM bracket, which does not take being that good, by the way, I like literally 1.3 or above, you're probably in that bracket. then I would be really, I would think very carefully about prestiging, because day one of season 1 Warzone is going to be insanely sweaty, and everyone's going to be trying to find the meta, and they're going to stay level 55, and they're going to use like meta perks, all that stuff. So if you don't want to get farmed, yeah, it's a good idea. So anyway, yeah, so we're getting Nuketown 24/7, hardcore Nuketown 24/7 as well, so that'll be really good for you camo grinders. And the game modes in Nuketown 24/7 are Team Deathmatch, Dom, Hardpoint, and Kill Confirmed. And honestly, I can work with that list. I can work with it.
I do wish TDM was not on there, but since there should be map voting, I'm assuming, hopefully
True.
TDM will
Yes.
not get voted often.
Yes, exactly. So,
yeah.
oh, and NPR brings up an interesting question. It is also possible, and I think even likely, that once Warzone integrates, the current double XP tokens you have now only in Warzone that you can't pop in BO6 will either become poppable in multiplayer, or if not, you can just start leveling all your BO6 guns and your character level using double XP tokens through Warzone, playing like Plunder or Unranked Resurgence or something.
Yeah.
That'll be nice as well, because then I'll never not have double XP again. That would be great. Ideally, they let us cross use them, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think that part they confirmed yet, but I know we'll get all of our tokens back once Warzone integrates. That they did confirm, but we're just not sure if that'll transfer to multiplayer or if you'll just have to use them in Warzone. I'm assuming it's just going to be in Warzone. So, yeah, hopefully Plunder is in right away. That'd be great for leveling. Plunder will be sweaty, by the way, if it's in on launch and everyone has their double XP tokens, because everyone will be using that strat to level up guns in Warzone, like Warzone players.
Yeah, maybe. It'll probably be sweatier than normal Plunder, yeah, but it won't be as bad as like actual BR.
No.
I would imagine. So anyway, so yeah, that's cool. And now on to some leaks and stuff. So this is from Charles Intelligence yesterday. And remember, Charlie Intel probably already knows, and he can't say anything until someone else leaks it, and then he tweets it pretending he's just reporting on a leak, when in actuality, the only leaks he reports on are things he already knows to be true, but he can't say himself first. He has to wait for someone else to say it so that he doesn't break his NDA or whatever. But reporting on what some other guy said is not breaking your NDA.
Here, why don't you just do this instead? Here's the actual Insider Gaming link. Why don't we just look at that?
Let's look at the Insider Gaming link, which is what this tweet is referencing. So, by the way, this makes sense. Insider Gaming is owned and run by friend of the pod and the only reputable leaker, Thomas J. Henderson. And he wrote this article. By the way, love the website overhaul. Looks great.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote this article yesterday. He says, exclusive! Call of Duty Zombies original crew could return in 2025. That doesn't really matter. Don't really care about that. Zombies nerds probably do. But we will just read the whole thing. It's not very long. Several sources have revealed that Zombies original crew might be making their return in COD 2025, which is next year's game. The news comes from several sources who were invited to do playtests, blah, blah, blah. They write more words. One eagle-eyed Zombies fan stating that the versions of the characters were not Ultimus and that the characters looked older than Primus. I don't know what that means at all, but for lore nerds, you can figure that out. According to the same sources, the zombie storyline will evolve around a new enemy character who wants to absorb the dark aether essence of the original four characters and bring back the old multiverse.
That sounds
Sources
dangerous.
also corroborated, that sounds incredibly dangerous, the recent Zombies leak that also originated from such playtests and feedback sessions. Sources said that the main Zombies map will be transit-inspired, with some form of travel system to navigate around the map, which is pretty cool. One source said the plan to have 6 total Zombies maps throughout the life cycle of COD 2025, but whether or not the game scope has changed is unclear. So I don't know how many maps that is in relation to like Cold War Zombies, I don't know how many we ended up having at the
I feel like
end
we
of
had
that
about
game.
that. I feel like we had around 5 or 6.
I think that's correct, because I think we had like one map on launch. I don't think we got one season 1 of Cold War, but then I think we got a new zombies map every subsequent season, which would land it around 5 to 7. Yeah. 6 to 7. 5 to 7. So that's pretty good then. So more words. Per Insider Gaming's reporting, COD 2025 is set to be a BO2 sequel. It's understood that the game's campaign follows Harper and Mason, put the apostrophe there, Tom, as they try to save the world from a new villain following the death of Menendez. And then more words. So this article is interesting to me, not because the original crew is coming back or whatever. I don't know what any of that means. What's interesting to me about this is that we're getting zombies again next year, it seems like, and there will be 6 maps, meaning they're actually putting time and effort into developing zombies next year rather than adding it as like complete afterthought like they had done in Vanguard. That's the real good news for me here. I don't care about the lore, but the fact that all of this is coming out means, yeah, they're thinking about it a lot, and it's going to be, at least it seems like it'll be quite polished and good and hopefully deep and fun like it is this year, and more so like it was in Cold War. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Pretty excited
It
about
seems
that.
like it'll be just a continuation of this year, just with regular round-based zombies again, bunch of maps, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. So, okay. Next, we have some other little leaks. So this is from Charlie Intel as well. 2 days ago, the Warzone map release schedule is expected to be later this year, Area 99 Resurgence. In the spring of 2025, Verdansk. These things are both confirmed. So obviously we're definitely getting Area 99. And then I guess it's been confirmed that in spring we're getting Verdansk. So that could be winter, spring. So March, April, or May of 2025. That would be season 2 to 3, I believe. So that sounds about right. Maybe season 2 reloaded. If I had to guess, that's when they would do it, but I don't really know. But that'll be cool. And then rumored fall 2025, Avalon, which we'll get into here at the end of the program. And that would not be long after Verdansk, by the way, which I find very weird.
Well, I think that's good because they want to bring it back, but I do think that people will get sick of it. Yeah. I think people will get sick of the big map quickly. So
I totally agree.
Because like we've talked about it a lot, but basically I think they'll end up changing a lot of little things and people won't like it, and it'll change. Because like Verdansk was so early on in the game, people are going to like think back and relate it to 2020 Verdansk essentially. And then things are going to play different. Things are going to feel different. Vehicles are going to suck still. It's going to flow a lot different than it used to. We're probably going to have less players than we used to, and people are not going to like it for a long period of time. It'll be very, very fun at first. It'll create a ton of hype. So I think the smart play, honestly, is doing it like this, where we don't even have Verdansk for a full year. I think that makes sense.
I agree 100%. And let me be clear to those of you listening. Verdansk will not live up to your expectations if you are excited for it at all. Here's the attitude you should have. Oh, it'll be cool to walk around Verdansk again, and I'll probably be bored of it in like a week. That's the correct attitude to have, because it is not going to feel at all like it did in 2019, or excuse me, in 2020. It's not going to feel like that at all. There are going to be repels when there weren't before. The vehicles are going to suck, which they didn't before. There are going to be balloons, which there weren't before. There are going to be portable balloons, which there weren't before. There's going to be omni movement, which there wasn't before. The guns, the time to kill, the aim assist, everything everything about it, other than the layout of the map, is going to be extremely different. And if you disagree with me, I would ask you, do you remember playing in 2009 the map Favela? Okay. Did you like it? Cool. How did you like it in MW3 when they remastered it? The exact same map, by the way. Oh, map's ass, actually. Oops. We've just learned something, haven't we? That when all of a sudden you change every single core mechanic of a game, you can't just slap the same map onto it and expect it to feel as fun or good or the same as it once did. Now, that's not to say it's necessarily going to be worse, because it could feel different but better. That's possible too. But for Verdansk, in the case of Verdansk, excuse me, it won't feel better, because everyone who's really excited about this has these rose-tinted glasses on, and they have all this nostalgia for it, and it's not going to live up to that. You're not going to be able to like play until 2 a.m. with all of your friends who will also play with you till 2 a.m. and then sleep in the next day and then wake up and get right back on right after you go to your mailbox and collect your COVID check for not working, in which you earn more than if you were working and you have nothing to do. Not going to be that way at all. You're going to instead play till 10 p.m. if you're responsible, and then you'll be like, okay, well, guys, I have to go clock in at the coal mine tomorrow at 3 a.m. So I'm getting off now. Yeah, so I'm getting offline now. And also, everyone's much better at the game than they were in 2020. So instead of getting 10 kills per game tonight, like we did during COVID, I got 10 deaths per game and 3 kills total. So bye, I'm logging off, and I might just be canceling my internet. So that's the reality. Don't be excited about it. Don't. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be as fun as you think it will be.
No, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good. It'll be
fun. Here's the thing. If you don't think it's going to be fun at all, you might have a little more fun than you're expecting. But that nostalgia thing that everyone's looking forward to will last maybe a week for the vast majority of people. Because it's not even going to feel very similar.
No, honestly. That's going to be the thing. They'll change way too many aspects of the map and make it feel a lot different and look a lot different.
Right.
There's going to be things where you're expecting and you're like, oh, they changed this. That's annoying, or that's kind of dumb.
Right.
I think that's the way it's going to be.
It's going to feel just massively, massively, massively different. Yeah. So
it's a good map and it will be fun, but I don't think it's going to maybe hold attraction as long as some people might think it would. They also better hope Warzone's really good on launch, because if they because Area 99 looks like it's going to suck, by the way. It looks like it's going to be really bad, and most people said it was really bad. So if Warzone immediately falls off, they're already going to lose a lot of players. When they drop Verdansk, a lot of people won't even come back by that point, because it'll be too long into the life cycle by then. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think a lot of people will be disappointed in it.
Yeah, I'm just saying to temper your expectations. Like, I think it'll be fun. I am looking forward to it, but I am in a very sober manner. I am not expecting it to feel like lockdown Warzone. It's just not going to. It doesn't matter what map you do. The only way they would even brush against that is by literally reverting the patch to Warzone 2020, where everything is the same as back then. Those guns, those balances, those bugs, those vehicles, remove balloons, remove repels, change the UI back, all of it. That would be the only way you get the real strong nostalgia hit that you're expecting to get. And even then you would be like, oh, okay, yeah, the nostalgia's nice, but now the game kind of sucks, actually. I miss repels and balloons. So it's like, you're never going to get what you want here. That's just life. So, but I am looking forward to it. I am very curious to see how it will play with all these new mechanics that we now have. And I actually don't know. I think it'll actually play, honestly, I think Verdansk is going to be a better map than it was before with all of the new mechanics and stuff we have. Because a lot of for those of you who've been around a long time, you know that I did not like Verdansk very much at all. I thought there were a lot of big problems with the map. And so, for example, one of them was sniping was way too good. That's not going to be true anymore. They've balanced snipers way better now. So that's a good thing. That makes the map better because there were a lot of long sight lines. And then when snipers would one tap at any range, you could just use a car, get crazy aim assist, and just dink kids up easily. So that's not going to be the case anymore. And then like rooftops were just so strong because you could get on top of a building that has one way up. And if you take it, put claymores down, have ghost, and then you don't need to be moving your character for it to be activated, by the way, and you're never being taken off of that rooftop. That's not going to be a problem now because there will be balloons, there will be portable balloons, and there will be rappels. So a lot of things that have changed in Warzone generally since Verdansk make the game a lot better. And I think it's actually going to play better than it originally did. It's just going to be way different. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it.
It's not going to be an exact replica of Verdansk. There's no way. They're going to change a lot of aspects of it, I guarantee. Like building placements, the layout of buildings, the inside of buildings. I think they'll change a lot, and that's what people will not like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be different too, because now, yeah, you're going to have like some shitter playing solo is going to be on a roof trying to snipe like he used to on Verdansk. He's like, oh, Verdansk is back. I'm going to sit up here. And then Pie Man's going to be below him. And then he's going to pop a portable drone, and then he's going to fly up, hop off the drone, 360, no scope him and kill him. And then that guy's logging off, and he's like, this map used to be way better without all this crap in it. And then he's done playing the game.
Yeah. You guys keep catering to sweats. That's my favorite com. Because it's the exact opposite of what they ever do. But whatever. Anyway.
They're just like Jakin brought up like Rebirth, like people, he was saying, what did he say? Something sarcastic about nobody liked Rebirth. The thing is, Rebirth, they didn't change a lot. Rebirth is basically exactly the same. And also the feeling and overall flow of a small Resurgence map where people are generally just playing it because they want to play Resurgence, and Rebirth just so happens to have the best, most basic layout, so everyone likes it. That is much, 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 much different than launching a big map and people going back to it, in my opinion. So we'll see. I mean, maybe you'll be right, but I think there is a far greater chance that the community hates a Verdansk remake than they hate any Resurgence small map remake 100%. Of a fan favorite. Just always. I mean, the map is 100 times the size. There's going to be so many, just the flow, the way everything works in the game, there are going to be a lot of things they don't like.
Yeah. And then also, the original Rebirth was a very good map. So like, yeah, they brought it back and people liked it. Yeah, because it's a good map.
Verdansk was also new because like Warzone Battle Royale, it was a whole new thing. So people were like, oh my gosh, we didn't really know what to expect. Now that also we've had other maps and aspects from other maps and things that people like on other maps. Now when you're going to go back to it, then they're going to realize, maybe this actually wasn't a good map after all. I think that's the main difference.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like Rebirth is a better Resurgence map than Verdansk is a good BR map. Like a lot better. So I will stand by that. But again, I think all of the new innovations we've gotten since in the last 5 years, by the time it launches, are going to make Verdansk play way better. Because it was mainly just very, very easy to camp in Verdansk. And it's not going to be nearly as easy now. So, and then anyways, so that's coming in spring 2025. And then rumored is Avalon in fall 2025. So this is a map we're going to talk about a little more, but we did go over this a couple months ago, actually.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Some guy tweeted like an image that he had gotten from somewhere. That's like, this is going to be the next BR map. It's called Avalon. I don't even know if the name was in at the time, but Tanner and I looked at it and we were a little concerned because there was a lot of water. We've gotten a lot more details on that we'll go into in a bit here. But also, what Charlie Intel says is that's rumored to come in fall 2025. So spring to fall, that's one season. So, I mean, that's like what, 3 to 6 months apart. 6 months at the most if we do like the start of spring to the end of fall. And yeah, that's not very long to have Verdansk. So one option, if this is true, is that we're only having Verdansk for a couple months and then we're moving on, which, as Tanner said, I think everyone will welcome by then, honestly. I think people will get tired of Verdansk more quickly than you'd think. Or, far less likely, you can play 2 BR maps at the same time for the first time ever. I don't think that's likely, but I do think it's possible and worth mentioning, because keep in mind, they have spent a lot of time and effort and written a lot of words, spilled a lot of ink, so to speak, on the topic of them really prioritizing lowering file sizes. Like, oh, we're only going to make you cross launch for 2 weeks, and this is to reduce your overall file size. Oh, there's going to be a big 50 gig patch, but don't worry, because it's going to be a net loss in like hard drive space needed. Basically, they're spending a lot of time shrinking the file size of Warzone down as much as they can. That might be in part due to them planning on having Verdansk and Avalon, for example, be both playable maps when Avalon does launch in fall, rumored. I think that's entirely possible, especially because we already have a precedent for multiple Resurgence maps in the game at the same time. Like, even right now, you can go to Warzone, you can play, what is it? Vondel, Rebirth, and I don't know. I think another one. Oh, unfortunately, Fortune's Keep. Yeah. So like, there's already a precedent for having multiple, Warzone maps in. They've just never done it for big map before, but I could see them doing it. I don't know. But something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So, and then before we talk about Avalon real quick, Charlie Intel tweeted this. Microsoft's CFO has said BO6's launch saw the most Game Pass subscriber ads ever seen on a launch day in Xbox history, which is pretty crazy, but not that surprising. They also cautioned that revenue in Xbox may be lower year over year because Call of Duty is now on Game Pass, which means the revenue there is recognized month over month versus at a single moment. But they're probably overall netting more money in the year, would be my assumption. This is in line, by the way. I've seen a ton of tweets. BO6 has broken all kinds of records.
Yeah.
Like most players on Steam at one time in a long time for a Call of Duty game. I think most box sales like ever for a COD game. There's a ton of stuff that we're not gonna like cover everything because who cares ultimately. But the TLDR is this has been a wildly successful launch, even by Call of Duty video game standards, which frankly I'm not that surprised by, and I think they've earned it. And looking at our own Discord, because we've gone through 5 launches of yearly titles now in our own little small but vibrant and extremely humble community, this is the most like unanimously well-received game since we've started this podcast in our own Discord
for sure
community. I have never seen a game that is this just ubiquitously people like it. Like everyone seems to like it in our Discord, which has never happened before.
You're right. I don't even know if I've seen anybody say they don't like it yet.
Yeah, which is crazy because there are usually people, and our Discord is a bunch of Call of Duty players, so it's very likely, or it's at least a good representation of the COD player base at large. And how that goes usually is people that like Treyarch games are going to love the Treyarch game. People that like IDub games are going to hate the Treyarch game. And then the 5% of people who are Sledgehammer players don't exist. So, or they don't talk. I don't know. But that's usually how this goes. And this year, everyone seems to like it.
Yeah.
Like the Treyarch fanboys like it a lot. And I would say I'm that. If I was anything, I'd be a Treyarch fanboy. That would be me. Whereas Tanner, I would say, is like an Infinity Ward fanboy. And he was going into this game.
At one point I was,
himself.
Hasn't been for a while.
Well, yeah. But anyway, fully expecting to hate this game. And we kind of both were doomer pilled after beta, because we were like,
the beta was terrible.
I don't know, man. Yeah, like this is not looking good. But now that the game's out, you're very pleasantly surprised. The muzzle smoke and stuff, like Neb, and also across inputs. I'm hearing, like, who plays keyboard? Like Neb has been saying keyboard and mouse feels really good.
You've been saying that.
Mm-hmm. I think some other
there aren't
people
many left.
who play Ben.
Besides that, I can't really think of any who has said that. But yeah, that's basically it.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of like K-Bammers being like, yeah, this game actually feels good on keyboard and mouse. And then on controller, I'm one of them. But controller, I mean, it always feels good in a Call of Duty game. That's no different this year. So controller feels good. Keyboard and mouse feels good. People who like IDub games like this game. People who like Treyarch games like this game. This is a very positively received game by like the broader COD base at large, which is kind of insane, and I've never seen it since we started this podcast.
Even like Twitter and like Instagram, like those type of comments about it, even those are positive. It's very weird. I think this is the best received COD title, I think, since we started the podcast, for sure, overall.
Mm-hmm.
It probably is the most fun, really.
I think so.
It's
honestly.
Yeah. I mean, MW19 had really, really good aspects of it and then really bad aspects. Like MW19 had excellent gunplay, but then a lot of other things that were bad, like time to kill. And then going into Cold War for me just felt like a free-to-play game that had a 1-year development cycle because that's what it had. So that game felt horrific to me. And then, going into Vanguard, Vanguard was hated from the start because of the setting, to be fair. So it just never...
Deservedly.
Yeah. And it ended up being a bad game. It was a really bad game. And then after Vanguard, is that when we got MW2?
That was MW2,
I guess it was.
I believe,
MW2 was mostly hated other than the few LARPers. The few old LARPers, and then MW3 was hated by a lot because it's just an expansion pack, even though MW3 was a really, really good game. And then after that, I mean, this has been the best game. Literally, there are like 2 issues with the game for me right now. It's the maps are fucking dog shit, and that's not going to be solved other than getting Nuketown. So at least we're getting Nuketown. Just won't queue for regular sixes at all anymore.
Tomorrow. Yeah, exactly.
Face Off has grown on me a lot too. Face Off has been much more fun than playing the dog shit maps. Like even the maps that I thought were good, like Subsonic now, don't like it. Don't think it's a good map. The only map that I think continues to perform better for me is Skyline. Every time I play Skyline, I think, this is just my favorite Sixes map in the game. Especially on...
You like it better than Payback?
I think so, yeah. I've played it a lot more.
Crazy.
Yeah. Payback's good too, but yeah, I think Skyline's number 1. And then, what else was I saying? So that's the issue, or the maps, and then the other thing is the recon specialty. Yeah. Once they fix that, there aren't many problems. Like, they fixed all of the gunplay mechanics that we've had problems with the last couple of years. Like I said, muzzle smoke. There's a lot of screen shake on some of the guns by default, but I don't have any guns leveled up, so I don't have any of the meta attachments anyway, so I think that'll be solved. But just like having a really fun AK in this game alone, like the AK-74 in this game is one of the most satisfying COD guns I've ever used, honestly. Like that gun already, at level 0, I could use it with no attachments, iron sights, and that might end up being like a top 10 gun of all time for me. It's so fun and satisfying to use. So, and then all those little things that Treyarch is good at, like the metal pop-ups on your screen, the showcase works. You're an idiot and can't figure out how to use it, but the showcase works. You click on somebody's name, then it shows their showcase, and then it also pulls up a whole other menu where then you don't have to click on names. You just scroll through with your mouse or controller, and it shows all their showcases. You can go to the left and right. You can look at their medals. You can look at all of these different things. That's all back. All of those features. We have map voting in. So, like all of those little satisfying aspects of a COD game, like when you kill somebody, feels good. Feels really good.
Yep. Yeah. So I think the best way I could explain why this game is being received so well, deservedly so, by the way, in my opinion, and Tanner's also, if that wasn't obvious. Like, I agree, this is a great game. It has something I don't think we've seen in a very long time, certainly not once since the podcast is launched, which is that it has the core mechanics are good. It has a good solid core, and that is always the most important thing. So the hit reg, I mean, could be better, but it's like, whatever, fine. The sound could be better, but it's pretty good. Gunplay is good. Attachment system's good. Like the movement is great. Things just work pretty well, and the core fundamental things that are the visibility's good. So like core day one shit is good. And most COD games in the last 5 years have not checked all the fundamentals boxes, unfortunately. They just haven't. MW19, visibility, F.
Yeah.
Game sucks. Doesn't matter what else you do. If I can't see people, the game sucks. Period. So it doesn't matter how great the gunplay is, or how cool the guns sound, or whatever. None of it matters if I can't see people. So like that, all these things, all these fundamentals, they've actually figured out. God bless. And then also, you have all the polish and cool stuff, the bells and whistles on top of it. So you have, like Tanner was talking about, the showcase. We're back to the classic prestige, which has got me playing so much more than I expected it to reel me in. It's reeled me in. I'm really excited to keep playing so I can get max prestige again. Ooh, what am I going to spend my next token on? I don't know. I'm going to have to go look. It's like got me excited. I want a prestige again. I'm doing dailies on week 2 of a new COD game. I have not done that since we started the podcast, ever. I would do dailies to get max level, and then it doesn't matter, and I'm never even looking at it again. But I'm like, ooh, what are my dailies? I'm so excited. Oh, I have to get... Well, I hate the dailies, actually. That's one complaint I have. They're entirely too difficult sometimes. Not difficult, but time-consuming. Like, one of mine is get 10 score streak kills. The score streaks kind of suck for getting kills. I don't want to do that. It's taking me too long. Or get 5s, whatever. Anyways, I'm like looking at dailies again. The showcase looks cool. The medals look awesome. The calling card challenges make sense and they look cool. And I can go into my customized whatever menu, and it actually makes sense and it's navigable.
Yeah.
So it has core mechanics, and it has like the cool cosmetics and polish on top of that. And when you combine those things, what do you know? And on top of that, also, it has some innovation, but they didn't get too crazy. Omni movement, big deal. It's very cool. They talked a lot about how much they like themselves for doing it. That's kind of it. That's kind of all the innovation. And I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm saying that as a positive. Let's not overreach too much. We all remember Warzone 2. Oh, let's innovate a couple ways. We're going to add strongholds. We're not going to let you pick your own perks. We're going to add AI. We're going to add black sites. Oh, whoopsies. Maps ass, games ass. It's the worst. You can't sprint while playing anymore. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me because they tried to innovate way too much. Remember the 2v2 gulags?
Oh, no. I forgot about that.
No, they weren't fun. Remember when the Juggernaut jailer guy would come out and just RNG coin flip the match for someone instead of having the flag? I mean, way too much innovation. We've way overreached. We didn't do that with BO6. We did one innovation. It's called Omni Movement. A couple other little things here and there, but in terms of like very big changes to the game, they did one thing. So if it was bad, which I don't know how more movement really could be, you could think of something, but like if it was bad, it still wouldn't have torpedoed the whole game because it wasn't a bunch of things at the same time like MW2 Warzone 2 was. But luckily it was a good innovation. So we have that also on top of it. And what do you know? It's the recipe for a great game. The game works, and it has all the bells and whistles. And we haven't seen that since the podcast launched. I can't think of a game.
Yeah. It feels like the most fully polished release COD we've had in a long, long time. Like MW2 felt polished, or MW3 felt polished overall on launch too. But then this game has all of those other things like the calling cards and whatnot. And one thing I forgot about the calling cards too is like in Treyarch games, it'll say at the bottom of it on the calling card itself what the calling card is called. So it's like you see like the name for it, so then you can like look at somebody's showcase and you're like, oh, that's why that guy's running that calling card. It's for that.
Yeah.
Just like a bunch of little stupid things like that.
Tiny little things. Yep.
And that's what makes the game good. So. And the next year should probably be even better, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. So as far as COD launches go, I think this is the best launch of a COD game I've ever played. Like, this is the best week one I've ever had. MW3 is in second place. It's a fairly close second, honestly.
Yeah, MW3 is a good game.
MW3 core game also feels really good and is really fun. And the maps in MW3 were much better on launch than the maps of this game are. But what MW3 lacked was pretty much any real innovation. Actually, the perk system was innovative and very cool. I liked that better as well, frankly. But it didn't have Omni movement, which I do think is I think it's a bigger deal now than I originally kind of talked about. Because being able to sprint sideways and backwards is actually kind of crazy. And once you start getting used to it, there are you can like get yourself out of some binds with Omni movement in a way that you really can't without it, obviously. So like that is in the BO6 corner. And then also, again, the bells and whistles, the prestige system, classic prestige coming back. What's it called? Customizable reticles coming back. Being able to see people's showcase, being able to see the calling card and read them. Play of the game working. By the way, every single game reliably, and the end game screen, the little winner circle, like all of this little polished theater mode, which I don't care about, but that's cool. And all of this is to say nothing about a really fun and cool zombies game also. That is also in the BO6 corner. On launch, it's fun. It's good. It's not perfect. It could have been better, but it's fun and good. MW3 did not have that. No other game had that besides Cold War, but Cold War had its own launch issues. So is this the best launch ever in a COD game? I haven't played every COD game, so I can't say ever, but that I've ever played, easily, far and away, the best launch ever. Will it be the best COD game of all time? It's far too early to be saying that. And NPR plus JKN, you need to settle down. You have to settle down. It's too early to say. Too early to say. There are a lot of months for them to just piss, shit, and fart all over the game.
Do they actually think that? Did they say that?
Yeah, of course they do. Because they're children. So like, it's possible this will go down as the best COD game I've ever played. And it's looking that way so far, but it is way too early to say.
Yeah.
It is way too early to say. Because keep in mind, we're done with MW3. We've gotten the whole year, and it was a strong year, dude. Especially when it comes to the Warzone integration and stuff. It was a pretty strong entire year. MW3 was a very good game. Will BO6 remain as strong as it is now, post-integration and post 6-month lull? We'll certainly see, but it's way too early to say now. But this is the strongest start we've ever had, and I'm like really excited. And I was pissed we had a podcast to do.
I'm kind of
keep gaming.
I'm kind of upset Warzone's coming out so early now.
You're having that much fun in the MP, huh?
Well, I just know that like once Warzone comes out, Warzone ultimately is always more fun, even if it's bad for me. So it's like I'm just not going to play multiplayer after, probably. Unless it's really, really, really bad and they make no changes to Urzikstan and Area 99 is awful, which it looks like it will, and there are no other resurgence maps, and maybe I will keep playing multiplayer. But yeah, I kind of almost wish Warzone was a month away or so still.
For me, it's going to be as simple as this. If no one else is on, I'm playing multiplayer. But once the boys get on, it's time to hop on Warzone. So I'll still be able to play both and get enjoyment out of both for a while.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm
maybe
not as worried. But yeah. What else was I going to say? I don't remember. But yeah, like we're also getting ranked big map.
Ranked big map. Yep.
Yeah, it's looking good, man. The future's looking really bright.
That's what they say.
Which is not a feeling I've had about Call of Duty in quite a while, honestly. So I'm pretty goddamn excited.
The future's now. That's game. What I always say.
Yeah, surely. So anyway, so yeah, the original, by the way, that tangent was brought on by, once again, BO6 is breaking all kinds of records. It like business records.
Yeah, it was like most players, most hours, most matches in a launch weekend ever. And that's because of Game Pass. If it weren't on Game Pass, it probably wouldn't have been the #1 player count, but so many people are on it because of Game Pass, which is cool.
Which is cool, yeah, that's great.
And they know they'll probably make more money because of selling bundles and whatnot through that.
Yeah, and if you're like, teetering, if you're like like I said again, a 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 maybe KD, you should want more players, because the more people are in the pool, the stricter SBMM can be. So it's not going to just take your 1.3 and force you into Scump's lobby. So that's another kind of thing to think about. But yeah, game's really, really fun.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is, a lot of you guys have wanted us to talk about this, which is the Avalon map. It's been leaked more. So basically, you guys can do this yourself if you want to really poke around. But you go into I think you create a custom match with a bunch of bots, and then you put yourself on the spectator or codcaster team. So you're just watching a bunch of bots fight on the map Lowtown, which is not a good map. But Lowtown, and you can even read it in game right now on the loading screen. If you're loading into Lowtown, it says Avalon, and then it says the date. So like if you load into Derelict, it says like Iraq, September 2nd or whatever. If you load into Lowtown, it says Avalon, February 1st. But yeah, you load into Lowtown, you let the bots fight, you're a spectator, and then boom, you can look at the whole map of Avalon. Now, the assets around are way lower resolution because they don't want you to force your console to render everything. But it's high enough resolution to get a very good sense for what the map looks like. So you can do it yourself if you want in the way I just described. I don't think that's necessary. What you could also do is go on YouTube and look up like Avalon Warzone, and you can see plenty of content creators have done this for you, and they kind of like zoom around and look at stuff. And I watched Iceman Isaac's video on this. He's kind of poking around at everything. He makes some good points, and he just shows off the map in some more detail. So the TLDR on it is, it looks bright and vibrant, and that's nice. The highest point on the map is not very high, so we're not going to have another Caldera Peak situation. I think that's good as well. What else? There's a lot of water.
Yeah, cringe. A whole lot of water. It. And it's in the middle of the map, too. It's not like it's on the edge like Moz was. It's directly in the middle of the map.
Right. Yes, which is bad.
Very bad.
But the POIs look cool and fun. A couple of the POIs are maps, multiplayer maps. So Lowtown is on the Warzone map, obviously. Skyline is also on the Warzone map. You can see that if you do this. And then there might be some others. I may have. Oh, Hacienda from BO4 is on the Warzone map, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The map Hacienda. Yeah. So
good
there
map.
are probably some others snuck in there, which is a good map. Yeah, I like Hacienda. And then another point he had made is that there are like open areas. So like the between POI kind of areas, that exists on every big map, BR map, have been good or bad, depending on the map. So like on Al Mazrah, for example, if you were not at a POI, you were incredibly exposed. There was just not that much cover.
Open desert.
Around, because it was a desert. Yeah. So if you're going from POI 1 to 2, you're not going to get shot at because every MW2 gun was unusable past 30 meters because they had insane recoil and visual recoil, which is kind of why it worked, honestly. But that would be a big problem with the guns now, for example. But on this map, on Avalon, Isaac made a really good point, which is that there are lots of trees and they are close enough together to where they provide you some hard cover without it being just a bunch of buildings that you can camp in. And the good thing about having a lot of trees in the open is that you get some concealment, but you're not totally invisible. So if someone's watching, they'll see you, but you can still take cover. But also, you can't camp there. You can't camp in a tree line unless you're in the Amazon rainforest. There aren't enough trees for you to just sit somewhere and be in like total cover as if it were a building that you sit in the second story of and look out a window. So that was a great point, and I totally agree with him. That was really cool as well. But then other than that, I can't say how well it's going to play or not play. I will say it's not obviously bad. That's a good sign. That's a good start. But I'm really sad about how much water there is on the map. Yeah. Like really sad about it.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Did you see any of this at all, really?
No. So I was thinking about this. If you guys care, I don't think it's worth talking about a whole lot, but if you guys care, I think we can do like a Patreon episode where we record and just go into the map ourselves. But personally, the map's like 13 months away. It's hard for me to be super interested in it. I think people are just making content on it now, like the Warzone streamers, because their content revolves around Warzone. There's nothing to do with Warzone right now, so they're kind of starting to get hyped for the next map. But like if this were coming out when Verdansk was, I'd be more excited, but I don't know, man. It's like it's a year away. We don't even know if this is for sure going to be the map. We also thought last time that other map was going to be the big map. What was that thing called? Where there were little...
Oh, yeah.
That never came. So also it's like there's a good chance Avalon just isn't the next Warzone map.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Ural Mountains, even Charlie Intel would always tweet things about Ural Mountains coming.
Ural Mountains, yeah.
So this has now happened. This has already happened 2 times now that I'm just kind of like scarred. And sometimes I feel like they do these things on purpose to just bait people.
Yeah.
So it's so far away, but the map looked cool from the little bit I looked at, and we looked at it before. Water, obviously, massive issue, but I didn't pay too much attention outside of that. And it looked like colorful and vibrant, yeah.
Yeah. The biggest thing I took away from it is that, again, the highest point on the map is not very high elevation relative to everything
see, the whole
else.
map seemed fairly flat, yeah.
So flat in this, like, there are plenty of like little dips and peaks so that you can like take cover behind hills and stuff, which is important. You don't want it to be a cornfield. But yeah, like it has the lowest peak that I think we've ever seen. Like Caldera had literal peak. You were way above everything else. Let's see. Verdansk had downtown buildings. You were way above everything else. What was the next BR map? Caldera, Al Mazrah had, what was the POI
Korengal
called?
Valley
the sweat.
POI.
What was the sweat POI? Observatory, which was way above everything else. And then what do we have now? Urzikstan has, again, downtown. You're way above everyone else still. This map is not even close to that much higher. The area. It's not like a tall building. It's just not. It's like a building on a hill. So you can't just jump off of it and go wherever you want.
Yeah.
We've never seen that in Warzone before. Not having something like that.
Yeah.
Which I'm personally quite excited for. Because you're still going to be able to move around plenty. You'll have balloons and vehicles that probably won't work well, but you'll have balloons. but it's not like there's going to be these insane power positions where if circle ends there, or even if circle doesn't end there, but you're just playing there, you're like, oh, okay, well, they're way, way, way above us. This is cringe, not fun, blah, blah, blah. That's going to be, I think, the biggest, like, crazy, unique thing about this map, honestly.
It kind of sounds more like the Blackout map. I never played Blackout, but from the gameplay I've seen, that map seemed fairly flat as well and vibrant. Right. So maybe they're kind of going for vibes like that. Yeah,
yeah, which I'm really excited to see in Warzone.
Yeah.
If we do end up getting it. I think, by the way, there is more credibility to this leak than there was to Ural Mountains or the other one. I keep forgetting what it was called. I don't remember. But it was like in the MW2 campaign.
Well, Ural Mountains was literally in the game, so that one had credibility. Like that one, I believe they always said
Los Alamos.
Yeah, Los Alamos. I believe they always said with Ural Mountains that it was supposed to be the big map, and then they ended up changing their mind. So that's kind of what I'm getting at too. Is like that, the map was there. It was already made. They just decided not to launch that for Battle Royale, essentially.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I get at least more than Los Alamos. I feel like this has more behind it. For some reason, I very much believe we're getting Avalon.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Ultimately, we don't know for sure. But anyway, and yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So, it's been a great first week, man. I'm very excited and a lot of good things to look forward to. Nuketown and then right into Warzone Season 1. We will, of course, keep you guys appraised on how that goes, but I'm optimistic. So before we go, we do have some announcements. First and foremost, welcome to our new gold patron, Ebo, an absolute king. Welcome aboard, buddy. Patreon.com/the Dropshot. And Unscrambled Mandible has also upgraded to Damascus, a god and a king, and we welcome you. Unscrambled Mandible.
Yeah.
Very kind of you. Speaking of the Patreon, I mean, now is the best time to join it. Actually, we are into a new game, a new season, and it's a great game and a great season that we've been playing a lot. So Patreon episodes are going to go crazy. The last one we did was kind of like tips and second impressions of both zombies and multiplayer in this game. We recorded it like 2 days ago. So that's live for all of our patrons right now. If you become a patron, you can go listen to it immediately. I quite enjoyed that one. And then looking forward, we're going to have more bonus episodes on multiplayer, and we're definitely going to have 1 or 2 this month on Warzone, on top or in Season 1 generally, on top of our, Saturday episodes that we're going to be doing on that. So now is like a really, really good time because that's where we get into real, like, small details about like which tactical or which lethal should you run, why, on what maps, etc., like things like that. So if you're really into like little details like that, that's stuff we just don't do on public episodes because there's too much to talk about. That's kind of grander, broader scale for those. So we get into those on Patreon a lot. So if you wanted to support the show, get those bonus episodes. We do 3 COD related ones every month, and you get ad-free all the episodes, including the public ones, and early access to the public episodes. So if you just wanted to like listen right away, basically as soon as we're done and without any ads, you can do that. Integrated into your app, very easy. There's a guide in our Discord on how to do it. But again, just to support the show also, that would be great. Patreon.com/the Dropshot. Thank you again, Ebo and Unscrambled Mandible. And I think that's all that she wrote.
Yeah.
So
I believe that's it. Patreon episodes going out next week.
Yes.
We'll have at least 1, maybe 2 gold out before Warzone. Who knows?
It's certainly
for
possible.
sure 1 multiplayer episode out sometime next week.
Yeah.
Dive deeper into some
which
things.
I'm very excited to get into. And I will have probably prestige 2 or 3 times by then as well. So we can talk more about like kind of what you should prioritize your tokens on.
Why haven't you been streaming, man? Got a brand new game and you're not streaming, huh?
Because no one's watching streams; they're all playing themselves. I realize,
or watching the bigger streams or something. Yeah,
or that. But yeah, like most people, like no one's even talking in Discord.
Yeah, that's
playing,
true.
so
It is funny how the
game
game comes out, Discord's dead all of a sudden,
and Discord just dies. Yeah, so that's kind of why. But anyways, I'll throw up some streams at some point pretty soon, probably though. But yeah, so on Saturday we will be doing an episode. Maybe definitely be talking about Nuketown a little bit. Just some more kind of BO6 yapping.
Yeah.
I'm excited, dude. I'm just having a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I'm very excited to keep talking about it. So next edition of that.
It's a good game.
The Yappening Part 2 will be Saturday.
Don't say the Yappening Part 2. Stay humble.